So I'm going to show the distribution of terms concerning the four different types of propositions. So we see on this A proposition up here, this is the subject term and this is the predicate term. Right above the subject term is a little d. That means it is distributed. Okay? Above the P we have a U, and that means undistributed. Okay? So distributed just means universal. And undistributed means particular. But the reason why we don't say universal and we say distributed is because we're already using the word universal. Remember, when we're talking about the proposition itself, we were saying, oh, the quantity of this proposition is universal, or the quantity of this proposition is particular. We're already using those terms. So when we just say the word universal or particular concerning in logic, we're normally talking about the proposition itself. But right now we're not talking about the proposition. Right now we're talking about the terms. And so when a term, this S right here represents the subject term, when a term is used universally, we say it's distributed. And when a term is not used universally, it's used in a particular way, we say it's undistributed. Okay? So just don't get confused between the universality of a term and the universality of a proposition. And to help you and to keep you from getting confused, we use the word distributed when we're talking about a term. Okay, so this A proposition right here, this is an A proposition. The subject term is always distributed, and the predicate term is always undistributed. Concerning the E proposition, the subject term is always distributed. That's a D right here, a little D above the S. And the predicate term is always distributed. Okay, so this E proposition right here, no S is P, the subject term and the predicate term are always distributed. Okay, so with this next proposition, the I proposition, some S is P, the subject term is undistributed and the predicate term is undistributed. Okay, and so with the O proposition, the last one, the subject term is undistributed and the predicate term is distributed. Now I want you to notice here which two propositions have the same letters for both terms. Look at the E proposition. With the subject term there's a D, and with the predicate term there's a D. So both of these are distributed. They have the same letter. When you have a proposition and they both have the same letter, you can switch those those terms, and the proposition means the same thing. In other words, with this E proposition, if I put this P right here, this predicate term, in place of the subject term, and I put this subject term over here, it would mean the same thing. Okay? So if I said, no S is P, therefore no P is S, you can do that. That right there is called a valid conversion. When we switch the letters around, it's called conversion. Okay, so we can also do that with the I proposition. Why can we do it with the I proposition? Because they have the same little letter up here. They're both U's. So I can switch the S and the P around. I can convert them. And I can say something like this. Some S is P, therefore some P is S. And that would be a valid conversion. Okay, so I'm telling you that just to help you understand, not so much that you learn conversion, just so that you understand these letters and what the terms or the quantity of these terms, what they can do and what they allow you to do with the proposition. So look at this O proposition at the bottom. Some U is not P. The subject term has a U, so it's undistributed, and the predicate term has a D, so it is distributed. I could not switch these two terms up and it means the same thing. Okay? I can't do that. Why can't I do that? Because this term is undistributed and that one's distributed. So I couldn't switch them. I could not make a conversion here. And if somebody were to do that, they would be doing an illicit conversion. They'd be doing a bad conversion. They'd be doing a phallus, something fallacious, some error. So if you were to say, or if someone were to say, some S is not P, therefore some P is not S, that's bad. That's bad conversion right there. You wouldn't be able to make that therefore. Okay? So this right here is just understanding the distribution of the terms, okay, which is just the universality and whether the term is particular or not.